The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control the space.
The far left has revealed its hand. In it, a dubious plan to manipulate the masses. One where they control the narrative by wearing the skins of those they claim to represent. While standing amongst us, they fan the flames of division, sowing discord and causing societal havoc. For those who see what this is, their voices are drowned out by entertainers who have made their careers in pretending to care. These ministers of confusion teach that right is left and that the ceiling is the floor, causing societal moral values to plummet far below the level of any basement. Nothing is what it was originally, as cultural Marxists have repackaged ideologies, words, terms, institutions, groups of people, and even governments. Identity politics is their vehicle, and actors willing to bleed Americans dry for $1 have purged all goodness from pure intentions, soaking our soils with blood while compromising what is left of decency and trust. They have hijacked education from elementary to college, indoctrinating our children to believe in fragile principles, loose morals, and virtue signaling. Students are taught that they are part of an anointed class and that their parents are lost, uninformed, and outdated.
Do you identify as black? No, it's a serious question because you might not identify. Can you please put the mic? Thank you. Okay.
When I walked into the room,
I'm not done with my question.
They seek to change everyone and everything but themselves. You cannot underestimate their ability to inspire. For parents by the thousands are now being led by their offspring. In their quest to remain hip and up to date, many parents have absorbed the teachings of Marxism. Even the criteria for what is a good son or daughter has been altered. Where parents were once proud to have an upstanding child with good character, they now boast about superficialities, their child's occupation, the school they've attended, or the car that they drive. They've hijacked feminism, where once it was about women having opportunities and being treated and paid fairly, it is now about insulting traditional women, exploiting children, competing against men, and going to war against masculinity. These women are lost in their anger. It would only take a small catastrophe, a loss of power, or a collapse in local law enforcement for their illusion of strength to come tumbling to the ground. They have hijacked liberalism, which is about individuality and being free to practice a religion, while also having the freedom not to. There was an aspect that stood out when it came to this liberalism. There was no force pushing one in either direction. This was an ideology where people were free to choose to like or dislike, to express what they feel, or choose not to. For a practice that was like water, which can take the shape of whatever it fills. Repackaged, it's harsh, it's threatening, it's intolerant, and it's now even violent. They have hijacked masculinity, where it was once defined by unmovable reserve, solid convictions, wisdom, and principles. They've now created a new image of the sophisticated man, a man of scholar who accepts everything with very few standards. He fights for this idea of equality without sound reason, not with force, or by improving himself, but by touting how life's unfair. He's unaware that his behaviors and thought process resembles more of a woman than a man. Repackaged, he's insecure, emotional, easily manipulated, and shallow. They've hijacked our women, who were once kind, gentle, and loving. They were protectors of children and managed well the home. They took pride in taking care of others and had an intuition that served that very purpose. But women's greatest gift of all was her endurance. Women were able to maintain good hearts while going through tremendous amounts of pain. It was for this reason that men once laid over puddles for her to cross safely, for her character was more precious than gems. Repackaged by feminism, she views a wife and mother as a slave, kindness as weakness, and serving a man as oppression. At worst, decency is foreign to her, and abortion is birth control. She has made her bed to lay in, and its size is undoubtedly twin. They have hijacked black, as in people, who were once known for their pride, integrity, humility, and unshakable faith. While American culture was rapidly deteriorating, the black community was the least affected. This was due to black people's faith in God, the strength of the Father, and the belief in family structure. But cultural Marxists have repackaged black and altered its image. In fact, they've reversed every characteristic I've described by using the media. And here's something to note. The black community is the hub of all social experiments in America. So if the social program worked on blacks, you can expect a similar program to be used against society. To be blunt, cultural Marxists have hijacked our entire business sector. This includes big pharma, big tech, Hollywood, regulatory administrations, and government agencies. They even took over our most popular sources of information, redefining words and terms for young minds that are searching for truth and clarity. They are all part of this reversal of values and ideals, this inversion of principles and understandings. The greatest display of social manipulation is happening before our very eyes, and many are so deep under programming that it is difficult for them to detect.
When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it.
But yet, they have not won. Their chemicals have not blocked our wisdom, their poisons have not killed us, and their propaganda has achieved the opposite effect. The masses have become aware of what this is and have finally started to fight back. White people are no longer fearing being labeled, and men again are embracing their masculine roots. The lies of the left are backfiring as masculinity is on the rise. Feelings are taking the backseat to facts, and every morning society is rising wiser, stronger, with more perseverance and promise. To turn this thing around, we must remove the psychological hurdles that cultural Marxists have created in order to control us. For the black community, this is what they used with the departure of the strong black father, and it had an immediate effect. And that is our belief in identity politics. With this belief, we have made our enemy's job as simple as auditioning actors to play roles. This is exactly what has occurred. We must denounce identity politics and instead observe the deeds and character of an individual. With this, we can crush these ideas of racism and sexism. There are only good and evil people. Breaking these things down into smaller, specific categories creates division, giving our enemies content to capitalize on. It only takes you opening your eyes to see that they've not only created societal problems, but they've also marketed false solutions that would make the situation worse. Prolonged issues have only created industries that repeat the process, enriching our enemies. Ironically, there's no greater capitalist than the cultural Marxists. The goal of Marxism is to destroy all systems, all faiths, all trust in everything and everyone but the government itself. That will be the only way for them to succeed, but we won't let that happen. It is time for society to open its eyes, for the light of God is why we are still here fighting. Hold on to your current understandings loosely. Higher understandings await, for heaven has not let us down, and victory is just beyond the horizon. This is my understanding. What is yours? Please comment below. Like and share if you enjoyed this content. Subscribe and ring the notifications bell so that you'll know when I release my next video. Until next time.